was able to. If we go. Oh, you help. Oh. Oh no.
Highlighted how racial tension or bias, even what social scientists call unconscious bias, can escalate. This spring and summer, those concerns have taken on new urgency and risen to national attention as otherwise routine events have turned into confrontations among citizens and sometimes with the police. Yamiche Alcindor explores this issue further now. It's part of our Race Matters reporting.
Several of the latest confrontations have involved white citizens calling police on African Americans engaged in typical everyday activities, including a 12-year-old mowing lawns near Cleveland, Ohio, 2 men barbecuing at a public park in Oakland, California, or this 8-year-old girl selling bottled water without a permit outside the San Francisco Giants ballpark. The woman who called police here being captured on cell phone video posted by the girl's mother.
Girl, you can hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Yeah, and illegally selling water without a permit?
Yeah, on my property.
Not your property.
The woman who made the call later apologized and denied her actions were racially motivated. Most of the incidents took place outside and in public and were caught on video that often went viral. While none of those incidents resulted in arrests or charges being filed, they followed other high-profile confrontations, including one in May that took a much more violent turn. Police in Warsaw, North Carolina, responded to a call from Waffle House employees over an alleged argument with a black patron. An officer slammed 22-year-old Anthony West into a wall and choked him. They said West, who had taken his sister to her high school prom earlier that night, was uncooperative. He was later charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The CEO of Waffle House later apologized to West privately. And in early April, 2 black men were arrested in a Philadelphia Starbucks when employees called police because the men had taken a table without ordering anything. The men were later released and settled with the city for $1 each and a pledge to establish a program for young entrepreneurs. The founder of Starbucks personally apologized to the men.
As I shared with you in Philadelphia, it was a reprehensible situation that we took complete ownership of and something that really was embarrassing, horrifying, and all the issues that we talked about that day.
And the company closed thousands of its stores nationwide a month later for a one-day employee training session on how to recognize and overcome implicit or unconscious bias in their decision-making. All of this comes at a time when police behavior in response is under scrutiny, particularly when it comes to detaining and arresting black people. On June 19th, police in East Pittsburgh shot and killed 17-year-old Antoine Rose as he fled a car. The vehicle was stopped during the investigation of a drive-by shooting. Rose was shot 3 times in the back as he ran. The officer who fired the shots was later charged with criminal homicide.
Many of these incidents have taken on hashtags and memes of their own, often referred to as living while black. We examined the concerns and some of the responses with the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson, thanks so much for being here. I want to jump right in. There have been incident after incident of people calling the police on black people while doing regular everyday things like swimming and barbecuing. What do you think is at the heart of these incidents?
Well, we've seen since the president election in 2016 an increase of intolerance. You have individuals who simply see young kids and think they are criminals. They pose a danger. In my home city of Detroit, Michigan, a 14-year-old simply asking for direction to schools to get shot at. The level of intolerance is germinating directly from the White House.
Some people are criticizing the police, saying that they shouldn't respond when someone calls the police on an 8-year-old selling bottled water. What role do you think the police have, especially when the police say that they need to respond because if they're called, they need to engage?
Well, at some point, the police also need to take account that individuals are being falsely accused, and those who are accusing should also be facing criminal charges. How could anyone call the police on an 8-year-old selling bottled water? The level of intolerance is something that needs to be responded back to by the police. So if there's a false claim, those individuals who are making a claim should be charged.
And in some of these incidents, we see white people, white women calling the police on black people. These callers often say that they aren't motivated by race. They're just concerned citizens that want to talk to the police. What's your response, and what do you make of people saying that people should have a right to call the police if they have a concern?
Well, we're not suggesting no one shouldn't call the police, but implicit bias is something that we've seen across the country for many years. The difference now between the past is social media has allowed individual citizens to capture what's taking place, to report it, and or have a counter sense of information, the truth.
People are so